Peace TV English, the solution for humanity.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله الأمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We continue to study the book that deals with fasting from the blessed book of Umdatul Ahkaam, and hadith 183, the hadith of Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him. Abdurrahman.
It is related that Abu Huraira radhiyallahu anhu said, while we were sitting with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a man came to him and said, I am doomed. The Prophet asked him, what made you doomed, or what is it? The man said, I had sexual intercourse with my wife while fasting. He said, can you find the means to free a slave? He said, no. The Prophet ﷺ said, are you able to fast 2 consecutive months? He said, no. The Prophet ﷺ said, can you find the means to feed 60 poor people? He said, no. The Prophet ﷺ sat silently. While we were waiting like this, the Prophet ﷺ was brought a big basket of dates. He said, where is the man? When the man stood up, the Prophet ﷺ said, feed the poor with this. The man said, to people poorer than me? By Allah, there isn't any family in any house between the Harras more needy than us. The Prophet ﷺ laughed until his teeth were seen. He said, feed it to your family.
This hadith, we learn from it the expiation of having intimacy with one's spouse during the day of Ramadan while fasting. And these are all restrictions or guidelines, because if someone has intimacy during Ramadan at night, this is permissible if you have it with your spouse, but during the day it is not. And if you have intimacy during the day of Ramadan while you're not fasting, if you're traveling, for example, if you're ill, you have the excuse to not fast, then again this is permissible and there is no problem in doing that. The man came to the Prophet ﷺ and he confessed of being doomed. And when the Prophet asked him, what did you do? And he told him, the Prophet did not tell him that, no, you're not doomed. The Prophet approved of it, meaning that it is a major sin. It is so major that the expiation was made so severe. And that is, the Prophet told him, ﷺ, can you free a slave? And he said, no, I can't. So the second level for those who cannot free slaves, the Prophet asked him to fast 60 consecutive days, 2 months. Not 60 consecutive days, but 2 months. Because the month can be 29 and it can be 30. So if it's 29, this is a whole month. And when the man said, I cannot, and in another narration, O Prophet of Allah, what made me fall into this except that I cannot fast? So he knows of himself that he's unable to fast. Then the Prophet instructed him ﷺ to feed 60 poor people. The Prophet instructed him to feed 60 poor people. The man raised the white flag, saying, I cannot feed any soul. I am so poor, Allah only knows how poor I am. So the Prophet did not speak ﷺ until he was brought up by a basket of dates. And this basket carries 15 sa'. So these 15 sa', approximately 70 kilograms of dates. That's a handful. So the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, go and give this as sadaqah, as expiation to 60 poor people. And the man said, by Allah, there is no one between the Harras, and these are the mountains with black volcanic stones and rocks. So he said, by Allah, between the borders of Medina, there is no one poorer than me and my family. So the Prophet ﷺ laughed until his teeth were shown. Why? Why did he laugh? He wondered and he was amazed by this man who came frightened, claiming to be doomed, and now he's going back home with a basket full of dates. How hopeful he was when the Prophet said, give it to charity. He said, I'm the poorest person around. And he was greedy, not greedy, he was hopeful and wishful. And so, subhanAllah, the Prophet was laughing on how people change all of a second. From being frightened and afraid of being doomed into looking up and saying, we may get something out after all. In this hadith, the scholars say that this is the greatest expiation for those who fall into such a sin. Nevertheless, there are a number of lessons to be learned and topics and issues to be discussed. Among them, if a person has sexual intercourse during the day of Ramadan, is he obliged to make up for that day or not? Scholars differed. The majority say he has to make up for that day he intentionally broke. So he has to make up for that day. What about the woman? Is she also required to pay the same expiation, or it's only for one? They say because the Prophet ﷺ only instructed the man to free a slave, and he did not say also your wife should free another slave. So what is the ruling? An issue of dispute. The most authentic opinion is that both of them have to pay the expiation if both of them were willing. But if the wife was forced and she said, no, fear Allah, this is not permissible, we're all fasting, and he forced her to do it and she continued to resist, then she is considered to be one of the three cases we've mentioned. You have to, if you're forced, or if you forget, or if you did not know, then there is no expiation on you and the fasting is correct. One of the issues that scholars also discuss and talk about is, what is the ruling if I go home during the day of Ramadan and I feel the urge to be with my wife, and then I say to her, bring us some food, let us eat, break our fasting, and then do our hanky business. What is the ruling on that? Scholars say that this is a form of tricking Allah Azza wa Jal. It's the same methodology that the Jews did when Allah prevented them from fishing on the Sabbath. So they dug trenches so that the fish would fall on a Friday and then they would catch it on Sunday. And this is the tricks that are not permitted in Islam. Likewise, if someone is fasting and he wants to travel for the sake of being intimate with his wife, so he tells her, let's go and travel to somewhere so that I can break my fasting and then we can do what we want to do. This is also haram and they have to give the expiation. But if someone is actually traveling and came back to his hometown or to his city at 10 o'clock in the morning, so he's not obliged to fast, is he? No, that day he is exempted from fasting because he's traveling. So can he have intimacy with his wife? If his wife is a resident and she's fasting, definitely not. And if she allows him, then she has to pay the expiation. He doesn't, because he's not obliged to fast. And some scholars pose the question, What is the ruling of a man masturbating during the day of Ramadan while fasting? Would it be considered the same? And would he be forced to pay the same expiation? The answer is no. This expiation, this kafara, is only for intercourse. Whether he ejaculates or not, the act of intercourse itself mandates it. Which leads us to something else, which is if a person is intimate with his wife but without intercourse, and he ejaculates without intercourse, is he supposed to give the expiation or not? What do you think? Those who say no, raise your hands. 1, 3, 4. Those who say yes, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, the question is, if a person is kissing and hugging but without intercourse, and he ejaculates, is he supposed to pay the expiation mentioned in the hadith or not? Those who say he has to pay the expiation, raise your hands. Those who say he does not have to pay the expiation, raise your hands. I see the hands are fewer. Yes, we've mentioned before, only if intercourse takes place, he has to pay the expiation. But if he ejaculates without intercourse, he's sinful, and the day is considered to be invalid, and he has to make up for that day. But there is no expiation. The expiation is only when a person has sexual intercourse. Now, if a person does not have money, of course he cannot free a slave, he cannot fast 60 days. If he doesn't have money, what's the ruling on that? Scholars differed, and the most authentic opinion is, if he does not have money to expiate, then it's gone. Allah Azza wa Jal forgives him. And if he gets money after a year or two, is he supposed to pay it or not? Some scholars say he has to, others say no. The time is gone. At the time when he was supposed to pay for the expiation, he did not have time, and therefore, even if he gets money after years, he is not obliged to pay it. Like a poor person, if I'm poor for 20 years and then I become rich, should I pay zakat for the 20 years that passed? No, because I did not have money at the time, and it goes. We have a short break, stay tuned, and inshallah, we'll be right back.
The value of money in the hereafter will be measured by its proper use in the present.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة.
According to the glorious Quran, one of the best ways to use your money is to spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by spreading His message of Islam. Peace TV is a non-profit Islamic satellite television channel that is primarily dedicated for just that cause, the proper presentation of Islam. It's a great choice to invest in it and a golden opportunity to purify your wealth in a way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Support Peace TV. Send your zakat and donations to IRFI Al Ryan Bank, 47 Calthorpe Road, Birmingham, UK, B151TH. Pound account number 011-32301. IBAN GB49ARAY 30008301 132301. Sort code 300083. Swift BIC code ARAY GB22. Please confirm your contribution at support@peacetv.tv.
Support Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
Peace TV presents over 100 million viewers at one of the largest peace conferences in the world, addressing a sea of spellbound spectators. Over 30 world-renowned orators on Islam with credentials impeccable.
The truth of Islam.
Deen is your way of life.
It is our duty, our obligation.
By following the Quran and Sunnah,
we will give the message to one and all.
With articulation exquisite.
Read the book of Allah.
Islam is the easy way. It's the simple way.
Remind each other.
The Muslim is not a source of harm for other people.
Collaborate with the people for good.
This is the call of Islam.
With the mission of spreading the truth of Islam.
Do what you can to spread the word of Islam.
Wherever we are,
live like Muslims.
Use your power.
Allah is saying, why do you need anything else? This Quran is self-sufficient.
The only book on the face of the globe, the Quran.
How a human being should lead his life is given in this instruction manual, the glorious Quran.
For peace to prevail on earth in Peacemakers. Next on Peace TV. The value of money in the hereafter will be measured by its proper use in the present.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة.
According to the glorious Quran, one of the best ways to use your money is to spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by spreading His message of Islam. Peace TV is a non-profit Islamic satellite television channel that is primarily dedicated for just that cause, the proper presentation of Islam. It's a great choice to invest in it and a golden opportunity to purify your wealth in a way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Support Peace TV. Send your zakat and donations to IRFI Al Ryan Bank, 47 Calthorpe Road, Birmingham, UK. B151TH. Pound account number 011-32301. IBAN GB49ARAY 30008301 132301. Sort code 300083. Swift BIC code ARAY GB22. Please confirm your contribution at support@peacetv.tv.
Support Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. We would like to see the questions that some of you may have. Muhammad Aman.
Sheikh, there are some or most of women who miss their fast, and we see that there are many of them who couldn't make it up until 2-3 years. So what should they do? Maybe they have their fast spending of maybe 10 years, 15 years. So what should they do?
The most authentic opinion is that a person, when he misses days of Ramadan for a legitimate reason, such as traveling, being ill, or if it's a sister who has her menses, they are allowed to postpone making up for these days until the following Ramadan. Just before that, if they do not make up for these days and the following Ramadan is due, scholars differed whether to pay an expiation plus fasting the days or only fasting the days. Some scholars say that because you delayed making up for these days missed in Ramadan until the other Ramadan was due, you have to feed a poor person with every day you make up. Now I'm talking about delaying fasting or making up without a legitimate reason. If a person has a legitimate reason, then definitely he's not at all requested to do anything. The second group of scholars said, no, there isn't any expiation for skipping a Ramadan or 2 or 3. Even if you don't have a legitimate reason, you're sinful. But you're not obliged to feed anyone. And this is the most authentic opinion. That was the opinion of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, may Allah have mercy on his soul. Having said that, if a person has a legitimate reason, then he's not sinful. An example, a woman got married, immediately got pregnant, Ramadan was due, she's pregnant, she did not fast any day because she was afraid on her child. She gave birth, she started suckling the baby. The following Ramadan was due, she cannot fast because she needs to suckle the child. After that, she got pregnant again. And then she started suckling and pregnant and suckling. And I know women like this who used to ask me. And she says that for the past 16 years, I did not fast a single day of Ramadan. Because I did not have the chance to do so. What to do? It's very simple. 16 multiplied by 30 on average, maybe 29 depending on the months that she skipped. And she has to make up for all of these 480 days. Now, once she's not suckling or breastfeeding, she should make up for these days on the way or the fashion that suits her best. Some of them would decide to fast, most of them during winter, because the day is too short. So it's about, in Europe for example, it can be 8 hours or 9 hours. So this is beautiful fasting. So they would like to make up all these days in winter, no problem. Others would like to fast Mondays and Thursdays throughout the whole year. This is also applicable. So you have to make up these days, but there is no expiation, no kafara while doing that or while in the process. Yes, brother.
Suppose someone has missed the fasting of Ramadan due to traveling. So can he fast on day of Arafah, intentioning that for Arafah as well, and for that he has missed the...
The Prophet ﷺ told us that whoever fasts the day of Arafah, Allah would expiate, Allah would forgive the sins of how many years? 2 years. And that is why scholars say that if a person intends to make up for a missed day of Ramadan in Arafah, he will have both rewards, the day of Ramadan and also the 2 years of expiation for his sins.
Salam.
Salam.
Sheikh, my question is regarding the voluntary fasting, for example, on the day of Ashura. If after I have fasted on the day of Ashura, I realized that I had missed fasts in Ramadan, and so after fasting on the day of Ashura, can I change my intention and think that that fast was an expiation for the fast lost in Ramadan?
Anyone who could help me in answering this question, please, with justification? Yes, Professor.
Niyat cannot be done later. After the action, it cannot be done.
Yes, we said that one of the conditions for fasting mandatory fasts is that the niyyah, the intention, precedes the break of dawn. So if you intended to fast the day of Ashura, the break of dawn is at 6 o'clock, and you intended at 6:15 to make it a day of Ramadan, this is not applicable at all. So the mandatory fast, you have to have the intention before the break of dawn. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam.
Sheikh, as we know that Yawmul Arafah is on 9th of Zulhijjah.
Is not?
Is on 9th of
Yes.
Zulhijjah.
Okay.
But now this 9th of Zulhijjah may differ from Saudi Arabia and our country. It might be the next day. So when should we fast the Yawmul Arafah? As when it is Yawm Arafah in Saudi Arabia, or when it is 9th Zulhijjah in our country?
You fast the 9th of Dhul Hijjah in your country, regardless when the people will stand on Arafah in Saudi Arabia. Because as you know, we as Muslims identify the beginning of the month through sighting of the moon. And we've stated before that the sighting of the moon may differ from one country to the other, correct? So maybe Ramadan begins in Saturday in Saudi Arabia. In India, it always begins on Sunday. True? There's always a day or two difference between us two. This means that Ramadan and Ramadan is different in both countries. Likewise, when we come to the Hijjah, It is not because the people are standing in Arafah that we fast that particular day. It is the 9th of the Hijjah. So if the Hijjah, the 9th of the Hijjah coincides to a Friday, and in Saudi it coincides to a Thursday, then you have to fast in according to the sighting of the moon, in accordance to the lunar month in your country, regardless of Saudi Arabia and regardless of the day of Arafah. Yes, brother.
Sheikh, is there anything prescribed from Sunnah what should be taken in suhoor?
Regarding the menu?
Yes.
No, there isn't anything in regard of the menu of the suhoor. You could have seafood, you could have steaks, you could have rice, you could have whatever you wish. The menu of fatur, breaking the fast, is yes. The Prophet used to break his fast on dates, alayhi salatu wasalam, raw dates, that is rutab. If not, then the dried dates. If not, then sips of water. As for the suhoor, you can eat whatever you wish, providing it is halal, of course. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Sheikh, my question is that as we read in the earlier hadith that the time after suhoor and the salah is around 50 verses, that is if it is read. So but in another narration it comes that till the azan, if you have a bowl of drink, you can complete it. And what people do in India is that they eat till the azan, and as the azan has been given, they have a thing ready of drinking bowl, then they drink it during the azan, is that till the azan is completed. So is it allowed?
The Prophet ﷺ said in an authentic hadith, which was reported by Al-Hakim in the Mustadrak and elsewhere, whenever any of you holds a glass of water or a container that contains liquids, juice, water, whatever, and the adhan is called, he is permitted to drink of it until he's satisfied. Now this is different than when I hear the adhan, I rush to the kitchen and open the fridge and make some juice and put some sugar and then start drinking. This is not the case. The case is, if I'm already holding the glass and it calls for the adhan. In this case, the Prophet tells us, drink as much as you wish, no problem of that. So I hope this answers your question.
Sheikh, we learned about suhoor, but can you just put some light on the issue that there are some people who recite many du'as before the suhoor, or many du'as related to the intention? Can you just put some light on that?
To say verbally the intention is a bid'ah. We went through that when we studied the chapter dealing with prayer. You do not say, I intend to fast tomorrow, which is Saturday, the 15th of so-and-so, from break of dawn till sunset. This is an innovation. Dua, if related to suhoor, also it's an innovation. But if it's dua because it is the last third of the night and after a while it's going to call for fajr and it's a blessed time, there is no problem. But you have to know the intention. If it's only in Ramadan that I do this, then this is not permissible. I'm afraid that this is all the time we have until we meet next time. Fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.